Welcome, Cobra athletic fans, to another exciting episode of the Cobra Corner. My name is Will Habel, and I will be your host today. I am alongside JT Colpeacher and David Mack. We've got a great show for you guys today as we sit down with Mel DeVore, Michael Lamberti, and Kamari Thompson. Sit back as we unpack the latest and greatest updates from Cobra University Athletics. Let's dive right into our weekly roundup, highlighting key results and performances across various sports at Cobra this past week. To kick off this segment, we're going to start with men's lacrosse, who defeated Young Harris on Saturday. Caleb Hiltz tallied his first 4 NCAA goals in the game, while Utz led the team in points with 3 goals and 2 assists. And Justin Behe tallied 4 goals as well in the contest. And then going to the defensive side, Lennon Connolly racked up 3 caused turnovers and 2 ground balls, while Michael Jensen had 2 caused turnovers and 5 ground balls. Now kicking it back inside to the courts, we got the women's basketball picking up a big conference win against Limestone on Wednesday. Lambert led in scoring, recording 21 points. Thompson had an impressive 17 boards, which leads us to this past Saturday, where the women picked up another conference win against Newberry, 74-61. Lambert led the team, again matching her career high of 23 points, while Kamari Thompson, freshman standout, breaking the Cobra single-season rebound record of 322, previously held by Shamay Hemingway. She now holds the record at 323 rebounds, looking for more this week as the women compete in the 2024 SAC Women's Basketball Tournament with the 7 seed. Men's basketball picked up another conference win on Wednesday, getting the better of the Saints of Limestone, 91-88. Mohamed Bangura with a double-double with 24 points and 10 dishes, both being game highs. Andre Lavelle also contributed 9 assists in the contest, while men's basketball made the tournament as the 6th seed, and this is the first time both teams at Cobra have made the tournament since the 2013-2014 season.
All right, so moving to men's golf, they finished 8th overall at the Spring Bulldog Clash this week. Caleb Tidd finished 3rd overall in that one, in a field with, I believe, 7 of the top 25 teams in the country, and earned SAC Men's Golfer of the Week for that week, which is his lowest career 3-round score here at Cobra. Out to the softball diamond, we had a walk-off versus Converse in Game 2, while Cheyenne Palmer homered, and in Game 2, Cam Jackson homered in Game 1. Kelsey Scott was the one that hit the walk-off single, and they defeated Belmont Abbey also 4-3 on Tuesday. And you should check the Cobra University website for updates on Game 2, as they were up 5-1 in the top of the 5th inning in that one against Belmont Abbey.
Yeah, that game kind of being put on hold because of rain and darkness. But also moving back over to the tees on the women's side this time, though, women took 10th in the low tide intercollegiate invitational at the Dunes in West Gulf and River. Quick word from Coach Hackney. Everyone contributed this week, which was a great thing. And Daniela had all 3 rounds in the 70s, and Mac did it twice. It was also nice to see that our drop score was lower than usual on each round. So women's golf, all picking up some action there. And then moving over to the mats in wrestling. Yes, wrestling competed this past weekend, and with Hamilton Cooper taking 4th at the NCAA Super Regional 2, hosted at Lander. Noah Koronoski going ahead taking 5th as well. And then, gentlemen, the highlight of the weekend, per usual, a guy we talk about virtually all the time on this podcast and everything. Going to be getting him in a future episode. Omar Armengol taking 3rd overall at the 141 mark and finishing 3rd, as I said, and he's going to be going on to nationals for for his weight class and everything like that. So a huge congratulations to Omar. Big weekend. And then speaking of huge, baseball this past week, big week for baseball, taking 2 out of 3 against Wingate in conference play this past weekend. So baseball going ahead, doing damage, and again, being a huge impact team in the conference. 7-2 so far as they gear up for an LMU matchup this weekend. Or Newberry this weekend. Newberry's going to be coming to town. We'll be touching on that in just a little bit. But gentlemen, the highlight of the week, if you will, baseball upsetting number 5. Yes, the number 5 team in the nation, UNC Pembroke, by a 6-5 walk-off win on a wild pitch. It's David, you and me were in the booth for that one, and the atmosphere was electric after the walk-off.
Yeah, even, I mean, you could hear what was going on in the stands, but even in our box, we had the 3 staff members in our athletic media relations, and then also 2 of the baseball players there helping us out, and we were jumping up and down, screaming. I mean, we've got the clip on our social media. You can hear JT on the call, and you can hear me in the background screaming my lungs out because, I mean, you just couldn't contain an excitement for something like that. This baseball team has been off to an amazingly hot start, and it's so much fun to watch. And even though there's not, the fun of watching, big power hitters come to the plate for them and knock huge home runs, they play really good baseball, and they do what works for them, and they get runners on base, and they get them home, and by bunting them in, stealing bags, it's so much fun to watch. They play great baseball, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them continue in SAC play for sure.
This week, we would like to recognize an outstanding athlete who has truly shined on the court. This week, we have Kamari Thompson from women's basketball, who just Saturday broke the single-season rebound record. Kamari, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So just give the listeners a little bit of insight of who you are, where you're from, and then your major here.
I'm Kamari Thompson. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. I'm majoring in nursing.
All right, so I guess just tell us a little bit about your basketball journey, kind of how you got started, what really inspired you to continue to play basketball at the next level.
I wasn't really a kid that was into sports growing up. I actually started playing basketball in 7th grade when I used to just go home after school and not do anything. So my brother, he actually used to play football. So I was like, oh, why can't I just go and play basketball? So I came to my parents and I told them that I wanted to try out. And they was like, whoa, you want to try out for basketball? And so I was like, yeah, I have to get my physical by this time. So I went and tried it out for basketball. And then 7th grade, I actually started, which was so unexpectedly. I was like, I don't even know how to play basketball for real. Yeah. So I continued playing, and then I went to AAU, and I had a coach, which he kind of pushed basketball out of me. He was my coach from like 8th grade to all the way from 12th grade to high school, and he kind of pushed the dog out of me, and inspired me to like become a better basketball player every day as I step on the court.
Now, obviously, we talk about your journey coming here. What kind of led you to Coker and everything like that? What kind of brought you here?
Coming to Coker, I didn't know what Coker was, honestly. Coach Reggie, he texted me and he was like, hey, I seen how you play. I'm very interested in you. So we kind of got to talking and kind of building that bond. And then once I came to Coker, I was like, this is for me. It's not a big school. It's not a small school. It's just what I need because I'm not into partying or nothing like that. I was like, I'm going to focus on basketball in school. So then I was like, yeah, I want to go to Coker because I think I can come here and change the program and get it to where we want it to be.
Yeah, so just like going over so far your career at Coker, you've only been here a year and you've already broken records and all that. So I was just curious on what your most memorable moment is as a Coker athlete.
Probably my most memorable moment would be starting as a freshman because I never thought that day would come because I knew I was going to play around behind people that was higher classmen than me. But once they got hurt, I was like, I know I have to pick up this role and kind of bring in that freshman mentality. Yes.
So I guess following up on that, with the expectations weren't as high coming into the season, but you kind of took charge in that role that was like Mel said it earlier, obviously you worked for it, but the opportunity kind of presented itself with all the injuries. So what was your mindset going into that after finding out that you were going to be starting? How did you attack the rest of the season?
Well, my mindset into it, I was kind of scared a little bit. But then once the game got over and I was like, you know what, I can do this. I mean, freshman, that's just a title on me. I can showcase my basketball and show the Coker and the team that I'm really like her.
And again, ever since that first game against Wingate, even then, like, you had minutes beyond belief. 30, I believe it was 31 that was tallied the first game against it was actually UNC Pembroke. And then every single game since, you've pretty much been the main starter for Coker. Or what is it kind of like, just knowing that pretty much every single all night and everything like that? Normally, when you look over at the score sheet, you're going to see 20 highlighted and everything like that. What is it kind of like just knowing that, hey, okay, you got the start now, and it's kind of, in a sense, has been years to lose this season?
Well, my mindset going into the games is not basically about me as a person or my stats. It's about what I can bring to the team and what impact I can show on the floor. Like rebounding, that's a huge part of our team. I get the ball, get it to the point guards, they push it up the floor. We're either scoring, getting fouled, or making a play. So that's kind of my mindset there.
Yeah, so I guess we mentioned the single season rebounding record and the freshman of the year stuff that just came out today. So did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you would be breaking a Coker record in your first year as a player?
No, actually, I didn't even know what the record was here until Coach Reggie came up to me. He was like, hey, you're this close to breaking the single season record for rebounds. He's like, you think you can do it? And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. So I just kind of put my mind to it. He was like, you got 34 more you got to go. And I'm like, he's like, you only got to get in 3 games. I'm like, how? I got to tally this up, how many rebounds I can get in each game. So then I kind of was like, you know what? Even if I don't get this many in this game, I can try to get this many in this game and kind of keep going for it.
Yeah, and that's something that we had discussed in the office, that the number with 2 games left in the regular season was 34. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, okay, you got to get 17 and 17, split up between the 2 regular season games, which, to most people, that's like, okay, there's no way that somebody's just going to go out and get 17 boards. But then you got 17 against Limestone, was it? And then Newberry this Saturday got 18 to set and then break the record. So yeah, that's got to be such a great feeling for you. With still 3 years left to play, you've already set the bar so high, and you can continue to build on that for sure.
And the one thing that I think, and again, obviously you brought it up before, or it's not just a you thing, it's also a whole team thing, and you can kind of see it. I got the chance to see it we all got to see it on Saturday when you broke the record and everything. And just throughout the entire season, it's been a team mentality, and everybody pretty much is hyping each other up, whether it's, somebody who hasn't started or somebody who is the number one on the team and everything like that. It's really that team mentality that's brought everybody together. So I'll let you kind of just like elaborate on like that family aspect and that huge team morality.
So our team, we kind of started, we never like came together, like we knew each other. So we would like text in a group chat, like, who want to do pickup games in the aux gym? So we just go to the aux, pick up teams, have fun, kind of get to know each other a little bit. And then we would kind of like get together on the weekends, have like team meetings on what's our expectations for the team. How can we do this? How can we be better at this? So we kind of like communicated within each other to build that bond and a team chemistry, basically.
So just touching on your career a little bit, like what are some of the challenges you faced throughout your career, and how did you overcome them?
Probably the most challenging thing throughout my career was losing my brother, because he kind of motivated me to be a better basketball player. Because I know, like, when I lost my brother, I had a game the next day, and it was kind of hard. I had to play basketball, and I was literally bawling in tears while playing basketball, and I'm like, can I really stay in this game? And so I kind of had to think myself through to, like, if my brother was in the stands right now, what would he say? So really losing my brother, that kind of motivated me to like be a better basketball player and kind of carry his legacy with me through, like his football legacy with me in basketball.
Yeah, so I guess building off of that, you mentioned your brother. You also mentioned your coach that you had from 8th grade on. Do you have any other kind of role models that have helped you, not even just on the basketball court, but maybe as a person?
Most definitely my mom and dad. They kind of push me. They take the sacrifices from driving me to AAU tournaments, basketball practice, even in high school. I mean, not being like zoned for the school that I went to, driving 30 minutes to go to school, picking me up from practice, and kind of sacrificing their work time to kind of get me where I need to be.
Absolutely. And one of the other things too is like obviously there's a whole younger generation out there and everything that you normally see. What would sort of like be your advice for like any of the younger generation or anybody else out there who, again, and is looking to get within not only just a career in basketball, just like some of the younger athletes, if you will?
I would most definitely say don't let anybody take your pride out into what sport you want to play. Anything you put your mind to, you can do it. No matter what it is, don't let nobody bring you down, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just going like back to your like just being like making your family proud, making your brother proud. So like, what's your legacy, or what do you want your legacy to be after you finish here in college? I most definitely want to write my name in Coker's athletic department to like not even being like a rebounder, a scorer, a team player, basically to like brighten the community and being a great student, basically.
So mentioning being a great student, outside of basketball, kind of what is your goal after you graduate here from Coker? Like, what do you want to do?
I want to be an anesthesiologist in the medical field, or either be a dispatcher for CDL drivers.
And the one thing that did want to ask and everything like that, we kind of touched on them before, and two people who have been at the helm and everything like that, and obviously you've said have been huge supporters as well with the entire team. Coach Mel and Coach Reggie, what have they kind of meant to you and everything like that, especially your first year here in Coker?
They most definitely bring something out of me that I never knew I had. From being a shy kid, I really don't talk. Coach Mel kind of pushes me to communicate to my teammates, pushes me to want to be better. Coach Reggie, he kind of like the strong man, and like even like in practice, he push us around. I'm like, no girl probably stronger than you. I don't know why you push me like this. So they kind of bring that mentality out of me to want to be better.
And just touching on the tournament a little bit, you guys got a game coming up tomorrow. What's it look like in the locker room, team morale, and all that?
We most definitely got to be hyped. We got to come out there and bring the same mentality we bring every day, maybe a little bit better. But I think we got this one in our bag.
And obviously for you guys, eyes and everything. And the one thing that, forgot to bring this up with Coach Mel, but we were talking after the podcast and everything. This is a young team going out there and everything like that. So what is it like? No, obviously we had senior day on Saturday and everything like that. 4 seniors were honored and everything like that. What is it kind of like just knowing that, obviously getting those seniors their big moments and everything like that. But what is it like knowing that this is also a relatively young team going into the future?
We know we really don't have anything to lose. We always have a next year, and that we can most definitely showcase better, and that we got a whole lot of working to do.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Best of luck in the tournament and everything that on.
Thank you.
In this week's Coach's Corner segment, we have a special guest today, Coach Mel DeVore from the women's basketball team. Coach, it's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun. I'm excited to be here.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Yeah, so grew up in Indiana, played junior college basketball my first 2 years in Illinois, and actually finished up my career at Limestone. So played there my last 2 years, junior, senior year, and then the current coach who's still there actually recruited me and gave me an opportunity when I finished my playing career to coach with them. So I was the assistant coach there for 11 seasons, I think. I was just about to start my 12th when I got an opportunity here to take over the program. And I had a great career there. Not so much as a player did I win, but as a coach, we started winning and really turned the program around there. And obviously, that's my goal here, is to, make a run in the conference tournament and continue to get better year to year.
Yeah, so I guess a good follow-up for that would be, how did it feel this weekend getting to beat your former team and former coach here at home?
Yeah, it's fun. Anytime you win is fun. But the way that we lost at their place this season, it was kind of for us a revenge game. I don't know if you guys remember, but we were up 2 at their place with like 22 seconds, and we're at the free throw line. Pretty much the game's over if we make 2 free throws. And we missed them both, and then we go down and foul a kid on a 3-point shot. So we lost it was just a heartbreaker. So to come here, to get an opportunity to play them again was fun. But Coach Fox and I are really good friends. He's a mentor. He's been someone I, share stories with, and he's taught me a lot in this career. So although I enjoy winning, it is kind of bittersweet to beat them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for the first time in, I think it's about 3-4 years, the 2021 season, as we alluded to, team's going to be in the playoffs and everything. What has kind of been like the morale for everybody, just knowing that we're going to be in the playoffs and everything this year? What has that morale kind of been like for everybody?
Everyone is really excited, as they should be. This is, you recruit kids and you have this vision and this idea of what we want it to look like here, right? And it's fun. And obviously it took a couple of years, right? But it's fun to see the freshmen who have kind of like the Deja Lamberts and the Mariah Mitchums and the Chris Knights, who have been a part of it when we weren't. We talk about being better, and we talk about making an appearance in the conference tournament. We talk about making a run in the conference tournament. For them to have put in the work, and now it's like, okay, we're here, we've earned it. It's just really exciting. Obviously, that's everyone's goal, is to play in March. If you play basketball, that should be your goal, right? So it's exciting that we're one of the 8 teams to make it, and I'm looking forward to Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially being in the SAC. It's not a very competitive conference for sure.
The SAC is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from just like a lacrosse perspective too,
Yeah.
it's just crazy how competitive this conference is. So just to bounce off that, you talked about like developing players, and what does that look like for you? From like when you go recruit them, what do you look for?
Yeah, we want to change the culture here. We want kids that want to be here, and we want kids that want to be here like for the long haul, not 1-2 year. Like, not that we don't recruit transfers, but I think my philosophy, my recruiting philosophy, my goal was to change the culture, and to have culture change, you have to have some rapport, right? You have to have some camaraderie. You have to have kids stay in your program longer than 1 or 2 years, and then you can kind of bring in a balance of some experience with portal kids. And the portal has changed recruiting so much, but
For sure.
we really try to recruit high school kids and balance out our roster with some veterans who have college experience. And this year, that was our plan. If you look at the makeup of our roster, although Kamari has had a tremendous season,
phenomenal year,
there was no talks of in recruiting Kamari come in and be our guy year one. That was not the conversation. We've had the most depth we've ever had at that 5 spot, and just the way that the season played out, injuries happened. She kind of embraced her role and really made the most of her year. But in recruiting, we try to get kids that obviously fit our style of play. We want to play fast, we want to press, we want to score off our defense, and we just got to continue to get better. And it starts with the players that fit the culture, players that fit Hartsville, players that fit me and really want to serve the community and get involved. It's not just about basketball.
Absolutely. And going back to Kamari and everything like that, going back to the record this weekend, obviously, he would have been remiss if we didn't talk about it and everything. Obviously, she broke the record this past weekend, and the funny thing about that record is it's going to go up because she's got a couple more games. What was it sort of like this weekend for her to break a record that was 10 years old, actually, to that point? I mean, a record that was held from the 2003 to 2004 season. What was it like kind of just seeing somebody who is a true freshman go ahead and just break that type of a record?
Right. It's amazing. Like I said, like this wasn't a part of the plan, but you never know. Like God's plan is greater than mine. And the way that it worked out and the situation that she kind of, I wouldn't say fell into, like she definitely earned all the minutes that she's gotten, but we're lagging at that 5, so she was able to play a lot more minutes than we anticipated. But I would say probably midway through the season, the numbers that she was getting on the rebounding line, right? We were like, let's just take a peek and see what that number is for single season. And then we realized how close she was, and it was like, wow, this is really attainable for a freshman. Like it's pretty special what she's done. And she just has, if you watch Kamari, I don't know if people think like she's a really hard worker. I don't know if that's what people see, but she just has a knack for the ball. Like the ball finds her, but she did it in high school as well. Like she's 1,000 career rebounds in high school. That's unbelievable. So we know that that's kind of her thing. But super excited for Kamari. I'm proud of her and what she's been able to do this year, and it'll be fun next year because we'll have Janae back. We'll have some conversations to be had. It'll be competitive at that 5 spot. So anytime it's competitive, we're getting better, right? We're getting better.
I think when you have a problem with, okay, who are we really going to play there? I think that's a good problem to have. Sure. You know, when you have a freshman that came in their first year and did what they did, and I know we had a conversation in the office where we were like, okay, for her to reach this before the SAC tournament, she needs 34 rebounds total in her last 2 games,
right?
Which normally is like, there's no way. Yeah. And then she goes out and has 17 rebounds against Limestone, and then this weekend she had 18 to break the record. So it's kind of crazy to see somebody like that in their first year of not even just here at Coker, but college level basketball, where it's very high level. To be able to do that is awesome.
It's unbelievable. And I would say she was pretty evenly matched as far as size versus the Limestone big, but Newberry's big is 6'4", you know, and she's like, some of those boards she went and got. They didn't just fall in her hand. But I'll be lying if I didn't say we didn't maybe put in her ear that you're really, really close, you know. Yeah. So I think that was a little added motivation. But still, she did the work, right? She did it. She earned it, and it was pretty special. And our team has really been supporting her a lot. It's awesome. It's awesome to see.
So I guess transitioning. So you talked about being the assistant coach at Limestone and then coming here and you know, taking over the head coaching role. What has that transition been like, going from an assistant coach to a head coach, and what is the I guess the difference of a role between both of those?
Yeah, obviously that one seat over comes with a lot of, I would say, pressure, responsibilities. I got to make the big decisions. But as far as relationships with the girls, I don't plan to change my relationship as an assistant and my relationship as a head coach. I don't try to be different. I am who I am, and relationships are so important. I want kids to feel comfortable. I want them to want to play for me. I want to be open. Recruiting is where I'm still very much involved. Coach Reggie has been awesome. He's a huge part of our success here with just having help on that recruiting end is huge. And then on the scout, like, our league is so good. So you have to come ready, and scouting is so important. But everything I did as an assistant, I still do laundry. I still pick up trash in the gym. I still recruit. I still run errands. Like, nothing has changed. I would say the biggest difference is, it's just making some of those big decisions that aren't always fun. Those conversations that are a little more, I would say uneasy or difficult.
Yeah.
But I think that it's needed, and I do it my way. So I don't think there's as a head coach, you have to be this way or not. But I've enjoyed it. I'm happy to be here, and we've had a really fun year.
So just bouncing off that a little bit, how has Coach Reggie helped you as a team, especially this year, making the conference tournament for 3 years?
Yeah, he's been great. He's great. I wouldn't say he's a huge personality, like he's not that loud, but on the bench and games, he's really kind of embraced the press and helping the girls get to their spots in the press defense. I would say that's his huge contribution that has really kind of set us apart from previous years. I've been recruiting to get to the press and to play like this. And now we have a roster that we're able, but now having a coach that's as bought into it as me it's really fun. And we get along. And he's a huge help with recruiting. He finds kids. We both tag team them in the recruitment, but just another set of eyes, another person who's equally as invested as me is huge. So I'm happy to have him.
Absolutely. And the other thing to kind of go off of and everything like that, just to kind of like piggyback off that, the press defense, you just talked about it. Not a lot of people, or not a lot of teams really run a press defense that much and everything like that. It's a faster style of play and everything like that. And a lot of teams you don't see play it until about the fourth quarter, midway through. But yet at the same time, you guys do it from opening tip on and everything like that. And it's a huge change of style, and it kind of throws a lot of teams off. What was it kind of like just having you guys just play that faster or pace of defense and everything like that and going to the full court press?
Right. I think, so since I've been here, we've pressed a little bit, but you have to have depth. Like, to do it the way that we want to do it, you have to have depth. You have to have people come in with equal energy as the first group. Otherwise, it's not effective. But we have depth. We've been recruiting. Like, if you see our starting group and then we sub them, and our second line may have a little more bounce than the first group, and I think we finally have a makeup of a roster that allows us to play it the entire game. And we're super fast, we're athletic, we got a little fight to us. So all of that is important. And they've really bought into that defensively. And it's been a part of our recruitment. Like, this is how we're gonna play, this is what we see. And if you can't fit into that, we're probably not interested. So you see how we play. We're not not that we don't run sets, like we don't run offense. We run offense, but if we can score early and score off our defense, that's number one, number two, and number three option, in my opinion. But it's fun to play like that, especially, we play with mostly guards and one post player, so 4 out, 1 in. And if you're a guard and the ball moves and everyone gets opportunity, to me, it's, as a former guard, it's a fun way to play.
Absolutely. I mean, it applies the pressure and, again, leads to a lot of mistakes and really...
For sure.
I mean, we've seen it over the past couple of months, and everything gets the crowd involved, too, because a lot of people get behind the fast-paced defense.
Yeah, for sure. We try to come out, and from the jump, we try to disrupt and dictate where people are going. And although we haven't had great starts the past couple of games, eventually we turn it on. And when it's like that, the energy is awesome.
So just going back to the full court press, I know it takes a lot of energy and conditioning as well. So just a elaborate a little bit on your girls' work ethic and practice, being able to do the full court press the whole game.
Right. Well, if you know, we got a couple track stars on our team too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Mariah Mitchum and Shantiana Tillman. And then I know they're trying to recruit a couple more of our kids to run track, but to be honest, they're just built different. Their motors are different. They've been like this since they've been here. I don't want to take too much credit for that. Like they work though, and they want to be better, and they're locked into playing like that. And I think that as much as I want to do it, they want to play like that too. So we do condition. They do work hard. They really work hard in the weight room too, which is I think correlated with that speed.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they just, I don't know. They're different. I definitely, to be honest, I couldn't play like this. Maybe I don't think I would fit this style, but it's fun to coach it. It's maybe I could back in the day.
Back in the day.
Obviously, kind of want to go back to the matchup on tomorrow, actually, more or less. It's Lenore Ryan tomorrow, and ironically, what a lot of people forget is earlier in the season, you guys actually beat Lenore Ryan and everything, and when you went to their place, obviously, it was a reverse effect, and pretty much you guys split the series, but Lenore Ryan was the number 2 team. What is it kind of like just knowing, like, hey, we can hang with these guys and we can beat, some of the better teams, and just knowing that the conference is, I almost want to say, wide open and everything like that because of the fact that, again, it's truly, from what I've been here, the saying "it's anybody's ball game" is honestly probably the most true statement when you talk about the SAC.
It really is, and we actually we didn't split with them this year. They beat us. I think it was our worst loss of the year. We lost 2 25-point deficits. We lost to Carson Newman at Carson Newman, and then we lost LR at home. It was a bad loss. We lost by 25, but we just weren't ourselves that game. Like we came out flat. The ball wasn't going in. We turned it over way too many times. But then at their place this last time, we lost by 10. And we were kind of going through it. We had some sickness and injury bug. You guys see our numbers are a little bit down, but on top of that, we had 2 kids out with other injuries. So now that we have everyone who's here and able are healthy, right? And I'm excited for the matchup. Honestly, we know what they're gonna do. Like they zone all game. We feel like we have good momentum going in, coming off of a couple wins in a row. And although they won their last game, they haven't played in a week. So sometimes when you have a week to prepare, you kind of get out of rhythm. But whatever they got going on is their thing. We're in a super good place. Like everyone's excited to be and have this opportunity. We like our matchup. We have to do better by possessing the basketball, and that's really been our stress this week. Is because like you say, we all keep saying like our league is so good, and anyone's game, anyone's day, the ball bounces a certain way. But where we have to help ourselves is limit turnovers, and that's kind of our biggest focus for this year. Defend. We know we're going to defend because we've been doing it all year, but take care of the ball. Give us a chance to win.
So, I guess have you stressed in the conversations with your team, kind of embracing that underdog mentality coming into this game? Losing both of the games you dropped this season to them, and being the 7th seed going up against a top seed in the tournament. What have those conversations been like to the team? Saying, hey, we can go in and we can take this from them. Yeah,
it's fun because I don't even feel like I have to say that. Although I do say it, like I remind them, but they really feel like they belong, and they felt it all year. Even when we lost a couple in a row, we weren't playing great, but we see it. Like we see it in practice when things are like balls moving and we're getting to our rotations on defense. Like we are different. Now we got to get, and I still feel like this. We haven't had a game where Deja Lambert is hot, Kamari's on the boards and getting putbacks, Dom's buckets going in, Chris is getting downhill, Mariah. Like I feel like it's a couple of people are clicking and balls going in and we're making right reads, and then we have a couple people not. So I think we've been saving it for the tournament. I hope, it's been, I keep talking about how the stars have kind of aligned for us. We know with LR we're going to see a zone. Limestone zoned us. Newberry zoned us. Tusculum has zoned us. Those are our last 3 games. So I feel like it's like, okay, we're like set up. We've gotten reps in the zone. We've seen different looks. So I'm excited, and I think the girls are equally as excited.
I mean, it is March after all. Anything can happen. So
for sure.
Just one last question. Just what about like your legacy as a coach? Like, what do you want your legacy to be as a coach, but not only as a coach, but as a person here as well?
Yeah, I plan on being here forever, as long as Dr. Griffin allows me. But I want to be someone who, is not only changed the culture of women's basketball, but has made a positive impact in the community. Get out, meet people, kind of mend that gap between Hartsville and Coker. Like, I love that. I'm super involved in the church and have brought people from church to games, and I love that our kids serve in the community and we see those people come to our games and feel that support. So I want people to remember not just our basketball success, but the type of kids that we have brought in here, and I want to feel missed whenever our kids leave, whenever our kids graduate, whenever they go on to whatever that next phase of their life is, and me as well.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Best of luck on Tuesday. Tomorrow.
Tuesday, 2:30. Y'all tune in.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. In our next Coach's Corner segment, we have a special guest today, Michael Lamberti, the head coach for Coker men's basketball. Coach, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate all you guys do for us.
So I guess going into it, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're from, and then your basketball journey and kind of what brought you here.
Yeah, I'm from Western Pennsylvania. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I grew up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, about 15 minutes outside the city. Born and raised there. South Fayette was the high school I went to. Enjoyed a good high school career, successful team and individual-wise, and was lucky enough to get recruited at the college level. Ended up at a Division II school called West Liberty in Wheeling, West Virginia, up there in the northern panhandle, and I spent 5 years there as a player. Very successful team-wise, 5 regular season conference championships in my time as a player. We went to the NCAA tournament all 5 years, and was lucky enough to compete in a Division II national championship game. And when I graduated, I had some academic background in finance and accounting, and did a couple internships of sitting in front of a computer, balancing some spreadsheets and just staring at numbers all day. And I was thinking, this ain't for me. I got to figure something out to keep me in sports or dealing with people on a daily basis. So I applied to be a graduate assistant at a bunch of different universities, especially at the small college level. And I was lucky enough where Embry-Riddle, a Division II in Daytona Beach, Florida, reached out to me after applying to be on Coach Ritter and Coach Keller's staff down there, where I spent 2 years as a graduate assistant after my 5 years of being a player at West Liberty. 2 years in Daytona Beach, learned a lot of stuff, got my master's, and in May of 2018, graduate. A month later, the head assistant position opens up at West Liberty, my alma mater, so timing kind of worked out perfectly there to go back home and get my first full-time job in the coaching profession. Spent my last 5 years there as an assistant. Had a great run, and as I put my time in as an assistant and we had some success, I started throwing my resume around for head coaching jobs. Coker opens up, and here I am. First head coaching opportunity, finishing up year one, and it's been a great start, and love it down here in Hartsville.
Absolutely, and for you, you kind of brought it up, your first year as a head coach and everything like that. What has it kind of been like your first year here as a head coach?
Chaotic a little bit. It's just it's a whole different ball game when you get to be in the head seat compared to an assistant. As an assistant, you got all the right answers and think you can do no wrong, and it's a whole different ball game once you are the one making these decisions, talking with everybody, and you just kind of learn it on the go almost. The best experience is experience. So as I'm learning in year one, how to talk to players differently a little bit, how to run practices, how to manage assistant coaches, administration stuff of the day-to-day operations in the athletic department, recruiting, scheduling, budget management. It's a whole new ball game, but it's been a lot of fun. My family and I love it down here, and time management is another key thing where I'm making the schedule, and it's kind of fun being a head coach doing that and being able to have my family involved with this whole process. But I've loved every second of it, and I can already feel a little bit more of comfortability just after a few months being on the job.
Yeah. So myself being from, that Midwestern area, Ohio, I'm familiar with West Liberty and the kind of success that they've had through the years. So how have you brought their style, their success, their aspirations, and kind of translated that here at Coker?
Yeah, the style of play is a little similar. We're not quite there yet. Defensively, we're giving up a little bit too many points, but we are trying to press and play a lot of guys and get an up-tempo style of basketball going on the court. And then a kind of freedom on the offensive end. A lot of the stuff we see on our offense is a freedom of motion offense of guys just reading and reacting of what the defense is throwing at you. And our goal is that these guys play so much together in the fall and in practices and open gyms and in workouts that they know each other's strengths, know each other's weaknesses, and no matter what thrown at them on the game court, they've done it in practice and they just know how to read and react. So it's a little bit different because it's not as structured and scripted as most of our guys are used to. Or, coach, what set do you want to run here? Coach, what do you want? I'm going to give you a couple different options of what you might see. You have to be the basketball player on the court to read and react and make that decision.
Yeah. So further on that, I guess, with the awards being announced today, Hayden Abdullah getting on the all-freshman team, but more, recognition-wise, Andre Lavelle getting first-team all-SAC, and then the newcomer of the year. So I guess we talked a little bit with Andre about his path here. So from your perspective, what was it like bringing him into Coker and getting him acclimated and stuff like that?
Yeah, he fits under the perfect mold of how I like to recruit is build relationships. And I've known Andre for 3 years now. When Ohio Valley shut down and he was looking for a new spot, we had recruited him pretty highly at West Liberty. Came to a visit, a lot of phone call conversations, and when I'm recruiting these guys, I just don't watch a highlight tape and think, all right, this guy's really good at basketball. After 10 minutes of film, he's going to fit in perfectly. I got to make sure the right guys are in here as a person, as a student, that are fitting checking off a lot of different boxes to fit in the program, because culture's huge on the court, off the court. And Andre bought in from day one. I love the phone call conversations when I got the job, and having that 2 years of relationship building with him while I was at West Liberty kind of made the process be expedited once I got the job down here at Coker. And he's been a great leader for us, done a lot of great stuff on the court. He's kind of been a second assistant or a third or fourth assistant coach for us with the amount of experience he has coming from the other schools he was at. So it's been a good first year for him.
Yeah. So bringing that along in the conversation as well with your transition into the head coaching and then kind of taking on a lot of new players, because I'm sure you've got some of your players that you recruited, but a lot of these guys were already here and in a system. So how have the challenges been like implementing that new system and getting these guys that have been here for however many years to kind of buy into that?
Yeah, I think it's been completely different for these guys, but they've all been bought in mentally. They're all on board and listen to me as a coach and aren't second-guessing anything. When I first got the job, the first thing I did was call all 15 players to make sure this was going to be a good fit, and everybody just said, we want to win, we want to win, we want to win. We know where you're coming from. We know your resume. We're fired up to play for you, whatever we need to do, whether it be fill up the water bottles before practice or you need me to play 40 minutes. It didn't matter. They were all about whatever task they had to do to change what's going on the basketball court to help win ball games. So some of these guys weren't recruited to fit this type of style of play, but they've adjusted pretty well, and I think that's why we were able to bring in a winning season. Some guys were recruited to be a post player that sit down on the block, and that's not exactly what our offense is about. Or some guys were recruited to just sit on the wing and run off a bunch of screens and shoot the basketball. I need you to be able to pass, dribble, shoot, do all those type of things and be very versatile. So that was a change. It's the style of play of how fast-paced it was. Instead of walking the ball up the court and averaging in the 70s like they did in the past, now we're averaging 101 points per game. That's a big change. So to adapt to that style of play, sometimes it takes a year, 2 or 3, before you start having some success. But these guys have, it's clicked a little faster for them, and I think that's why we've been able to win some games.
Absolutely. And one of the you bring up the points and everything like that scored. Or twice this season, actually 3 times for that matter, now that I think about it. 3 times this season we're able to tie the most points in a single season in a single game record and then break it the next day and then tie it again later in the season. And so a little bit of a handful of accomplishments and milestones here or at Cobra for you guys. In your first year, what has it kind of been like just getting some of those like accolades and everything like that and some of those milestones and records that we've seen?
It's nice to see the work pay off. A little bit of the style of play just comes with that. There's more possessions in the game. We're shooting at a faster rate. Our defense a little bit. We're getting attacked because teams are just deciding to run with us. So with them not slowing the basketball game down, and also you're getting more opportunities to score. But these guys are very talented on the offensive side of the basketball. And the cool thing is to see how many times we get assists and how many times we get high fives and recognition of being fired up. It doesn't matter who's scoring the basketball. We're fired up for our teammates and each other. So it's pretty cool to see us score that many points and break some records individually and team-wise, and hopefully that's allowing us to go into the recruiting process of attracting different type of style of basketball players this offseason to keep building this.
So I guess following up on that would be with getting all the accolades, and then I know we looked into this 2 seasons ago, they won 5 games all year. So the change from that, and then last year winning, I think they won 12, 13 games, and then now having an above 500 record for the first time since the 2013-2014 season. Has it been a challenge keeping them grounded a little bit as to, they're now experiencing this success? Have you faced any challenges with making sure that they keep a level head in this process?
Yeah, that's my job as a head coach, is to make sure that you just take it day by day. We didn't really set team goals of we want to win this many games, or we want to have this in the standings, or we want to break school records and things like that. It was just come in each and every day ready to work. And if you have the mental focus of what can I do today to be better, how do I learn from yesterday to improve today, then you're going to be just fine. Let's worry about this game or this practice or this shoot around or this film session, and instilling that confidence in these guys that may have went through those 5-win seasons or 12-win seasons, whatever it may be, to now this is how it works. It's not I just show up on Wednesday on game day and coach waves this magic wand and we're going to score a bunch of points and get a win. No, how much you worked in August, September, October is why we're winning in November, December, January. So these guys have changed their daily work ethic on the court, in the film room, in the weight room, to allow them to be successful.
Absolutely, and it kind of goes, again, the success shows and everything like that, and it's sort of that one thing of, you coming in here and having these guys believe and everything like that, and it's one of those things where, I can vouch, there are some days where I'm leaving the office and everything like that, and there's handful of guys. There was one day I was leaving the office. It was in September when I first got here, and the guys were running, a scrimmage by themselves. They were running in games in the court by themselves and everything like that. No coach or anything like that. As a coach for you, what is it like just seeing that these guys have bought into the mentality and now know what the mentality is, and what is it like just seeing that the team has the willingness to win and pretty much buy into everything that you're saying as a head coach and believing in it?
Yeah, it makes my job a lot easier once the guys are fired up and want to be in the gym is half the battle. The mental game of I get to go play basketball instead of I have to be there and coach is making me do it. If you want to be in the gym, if you want to get better, if you want to be in there with your teammates, well, then I get to concentrate on how to run plays and do all the strategical stuff instead of, come on, I got to fire you up. Do you not want to be, like, if you're an energy zombie and you don't want to be, probably got to find a new spot for you. That's part of the relationship building and the recruiting process that I talked about, is I want to be surrounded by guys that feel grateful for what they're doing every day, from the assistant coaches, the athletic trainers, to managers, to guy 1 to guy 20. If you're not fired up to want to be in the gym and feel like you get to do something, there's a lot of worse things you could be doing in life. So to see them wired that way and wanting to get that extra work in, that's a step in the right direction.
So piggying back a little bit with having the 5 wins and then the 12 wins and then being, the first time above 500 this season, and qualifying for the playoffs and obviously still, have some more work to be done this season as well. How do you build on a season like this going into next year?
I think it's going to help with, returners now know what I'm all about. They know how the practices are run. They know how the conversations are going. They know what kind of plays we're going to run. They know the defense, the offense. You're going to see guys that were in their first year in this system who return next year for year 2, take that big of a jump. And then it's my job and the assistant coach's jobs to surround them with guys that are going to fit that mold of being successful in this style. So I'm excited to see some guys take a jump from year 1 to year 2. And it's cool to get excited about winning seasons, but competing for championships is even more fun. And hopefully one day we get to say Coker's in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever with men's basketball, or Coker's hosting a regional tournament, or Coker is winning a championship for the regular season or conference tournament championship for the first time. So it's a good stepping block for what we're doing right now. And hopefully we can make a little run this week in the conference tournament. But these guys are hopefully going to get hungry for more, and I've seen a little bit of success work. If I work that much harder in the off season, I'll be that much more prepared for open gyms and fall workouts come August, September. And then they have the faith in our coaching staff to go add the right guys as students, persons, and players to be added to our returners to then have a team that keeps taking us up the ladder a little bit.
So just touched on you guys on the court. You guys run a full court press, as everyone here knows. So it's not really, you don't see that too often. So what do you see in that, and what makes it work so well for you guys?
Going full speed 100% of the time. When you pull up the film, you'll see some times where we trap that first pass, or we have that guy on the ball going crazy with their hands on it. You'll see them jog to that first trap, or when they get that pass out of that first trap, they'll start jogging back, and we'll point them out and say, is that as fast as you can possibly run? We see you guys running sprints and up and downs all the time, or running on offense. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. Is this as fast as you can possibly run here? So that's the kind of things we're looking at, is you're giving full maximum effort and playing until exhaustion. And that's how it works. If you can get 10 guys on the same page, where we're always having fresh bodies out there for 2 to 3 minutes, instead of having to play guys for 7, 8, 9 minutes stints at a 50% clip, that's how the pace and style of play works. So we're not 100% doing it right now. When depth and injuries a little bit has something to do with it, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
And that's something to bring up with the play style as well. And it's something that I've kind of been calling it almost hockey subs in a sense. Yeah. And everything like that, where it's like 5 guys in, 5 guys out, and everything like that. What is it like kind of just running like that type of a lineup going in, where it's like 5 guys are going to start the first 20 minutes, and then about 3-4 minutes later, another 5 guys are going to come out, or 3, 4, 5 guys going to come in. And it's like just continuing that rotation, and just keeping the other team in a sense on their toes and everything like that, and just winning one of the battles that is probably, in my opinion, one of the toughest battles to win in any sport for that matter, and that being the conditioning battle.
Yeah. Conditioning is the big part, and we try and make our falls as competitive and hard as possible, so come game time you're in tip-top shape to do it. But the message we try and give them is, look, you're the starters. You're going to play the first 3 minutes of the game. You can play as hard as you possibly can until exhaustion, because in 3 minutes you've got 5 guys coming in for you. You don't have to worry about when's the next media. Am I going to be playing for 7 or 8? It's a little bit scripted. So you know when you're about to get a water break, you're about to sit on the bench for 2-3 minutes to recharge the tank, and then 5 of my teammates and my boys are about to go do it again for me. So if you can keep fresh bodies out there playing at that high intensity, well, then the other team's only playing 6, 7 guys, and they want to bring the ball up the court at a slower pace. They just took the best punch from the starters, and 5 new guys who are 100% bouncing around ready to rock and roll are coming in. They're thinking, holy heck, was this ever going to slow down? I have to go against this for 40 minutes? This is insane. So that's kind of the mentality that we want right now. And if we can really, really buy into that approach of, I'm going to play as hard as I possibly can for that short stint, and I'm fired up about being subbed out of the game because my boys are going to come in and give me a spell now that I'm tired, I think we can do something really, really cool.
And obviously we talk about that high energy and that high passion. And the one thing that I have kind of brought up around the office and everything like that, and I've noticed with you and everything like that, there's one factor that is always brought up and is always, I feel like, not talked about enough, and that's getting the crowd involved. Whenever it's late in the games or in the beginning of the games and everything like that, always see you on the bench firing up the crowd, firing up the bench. So I'll just let you kind of elaborate on what it's like just for you, and like what your mentality is getting everybody involved and everything like that, whether it's everybody on the bench or just firing up the crowd after a big stop or a big dunk coming in.
Yeah, I guess I don't always know if it's appropriate or not, but it's just I'm a high energy guy. I want people to be excited about us having a chance to win the basketball game. And I think coming into this Deloche Center with a snake pit of students that are cheering for you and a bunch of fans that are coming to games for the first time in a while, like, you guys can help us win. If you get loud and make these guys miss some free throws, or it gets loud the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, they might be short on a 3-point shot that they're usually making. Like, there's home court advantage is definitely a thing. And I think also if you're getting the bench involved and they're standing up and they're clapping for their teammates, or they're flexing muscles because they get an and one or a charge or a defensive stop, whatever it may be, like, then your teammates are going to feed off of that. They see the bench is all fired up. I'm like, yeah, my teammates are fired up for me. My coach is the leader. Like, let's do this together. We're fired up about something we're doing together. And then it's going to increase our performance as a team, and it might decrease the performance of the other team. So, like I said, I want to be with guys in the gym that are fired up about what we're doing. I want Hartsville and Coker University to be fired up about what we're doing as well. And if we can get both parties on the same board, that makes this home court pretty valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to the home court, just Francis Marion game. Going back to that, the place was bumping. So, I mean, in the past, it hasn't been that many students, that many people engaged in the game. But seeing what you brought to the table and all that, it's been a pleasure to watch and a pleasure to capture it for you as well. I
appreciate it. That Francis Marion game brings me a bad memory in my mouth or my mind with that loss. But it's cool to see the county come to support two teams that are so close to each other, and hopefully crowds like that become a normal thing.
Absolutely. Well, I know you gotta get to watch some film, so just one last one. It's finally, what legacy do you want to leave behind here, or just as a coach?
My legacy as a coach here? Well, hopefully it's just getting started, and that question can be answered 10, 20, 30 years from now after we build something special. But just a guy that comes to work every day. I'm a guy who has a smile, whether how bad of a day or good a day you have. I try and think of things with a glass half full approach, and I think when you come into work every day like that, like you get to do something, you're going to be fired up about what you do. And I've been doing this for a living for 6-7 years now. I get to coach a game of basketball to get a paycheck, and I could be doing a lot of worse things in life, and it's the perspective my family and mentors gave to me, and I'm trying to pass that along to our student athletes. So I want them to enjoy their time here. I want the people that are surrounded to get fired up about it, but I also want them to be more prepared for life after basketball and life after Coker, and then to think 10, 20, 30 years down the line, like if I wasn't with Coach Lamberti and his staff and at Coker University, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and they learn a lot of valuable life lessons that way, and that's my goal, one day at a time.
Well, appreciate you coming on, Coach. Best of luck Wednesday tournament.
Appreciate you guys and all you're doing, the publicity that you guys are giving to this school and athletic department is great. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Hey, thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Let's take a look into next week's action for Coker Athletics. Starting over on the diamond with softball opening conference play on Tuesday at home against Carson Newman in a doubleheader, and then action will continue again against Limestone on Saturday. That one's going to be on the road. So softball with 2 this week, 2 big conference plays, and then baseball taking on Lander at 6 p.m. So just when you thought the Conference Carolina opponent's going to get any tougher, Lander's coming into town after UNC Pembroke last week, and then another conference series for the men this weekend as they're going to be facing Newberry Friday and Saturday. Friday's game should be starting at 6 p.m. with Saturday the doubleheaders being 1 and 4 p.m. And then, David, big week in the courts coming up for us.
Yeah, so both the men's and women's basketball teams, as previously stated, have qualified for the conference tournament. Both of them in the same year for the first time since the 2013-2014 season. The women play Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. in Rock Hill. They play LR, who is the 2 seed, and they are the 7 seed, while the men are playing Wednesday at 7:30, and they play number 3 Catawba, as we are the 6 seed. So great action for basketball. Postseason play. We're in March, guys. So the basketball vibes are high for sure, and we're really looking forward to seeing our teams compete in the postseason.
Jumping outside, we got men's lacrosse playing LMU in the home conference opener, 1 o'clock on Friday. And then jumping to the courts, this time outside, we have men's and women's tennis head on the road to face off against LMU at noon on Saturday. And there you have it, another episode of the Cobra Corner. We hope you enjoyed the show and can't wait to see you supporting Coker Athletics in the stands or online. Remember, your passion and support really does make the difference for our teams. So keep cheering, be loud, and let's go Cobras. See y'all next week.